All right, so Nvidia, right. They're kind of a big deal right now.
Yeah, kind of hard to ignore those headlines, record revenue and all that.
It's like they're printing money, but what's really driving it, it's got to be more than just those fancy graphics cards for gamers.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's the AI boom, and Nvidia's right at the center of it.
Right, and that's what we're diving into today, NVIDIA's Q2 2025 financial report. We're talking billions of dollars here, and a glimpse into the future of, well, everything.
No kidding, their 10Q filing, it's dense, but it's a gold mine. Let's break down some of these eye-popping numbers.
Hit us with the highlights.
Okay, so revenue, total for Q2 2025. Are you ready for this? $30.04 billion.
Whoa, that's billion with a B.
Yep, and that's a 122% jump compared to last year. Absolutely massive growth.
So basically, in the time it takes to make a cup of coffee, they've made like a gazillion dollars.
Pretty much. And a huge chunk of that, like we were saying, is coming from their data center business.
Right, data centers, that sounds kind of, I don't know, boring. But this is where it gets really interesting, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. Think of data centers as the engine rooms of the AI revolution. We're talking massive computing power, the kind that makes all those cool AI things possible.
Okay, so less about storing cat videos and more about, like, the brains behind self-driving cars.
Exactly, and so much more. We're talking about everything from medical diagnoses to those eerily accurate recommendations you get on Spotify.
So Nvidia is basically selling the picks and shovels to those digging for AI gold, but they're also like the ones who found the gold mine in the first place.
That's a great way to put it. They're providing the hardware, the software, the whole package. And their Hopper GPU, specifically designed for AI, that's their golden ticket.
Okay, so they're killing it, clearly. But there's that whole thing with the export restrictions on selling those top-tier chips to China. How did that shake out for them?
Right, that was a big deal. But they're nothing if not adaptable. They design new chips specifically for the Chinese market. Still powerful, but designed to comply with those restrictions.
Have it, girl. So are they back to making bank in China then?
It's recovering. Definitely a strategic win for them. Their China revenue is still not back to what it was, but it's heading in the right direction. It just goes to show, Nvidia, they're playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
All right, so we've got this company raking in billions, navigating geopolitical landmines like a boss. But what does it all actually mean? What's the real-world impact of all this data center AI stuff?
Great question. Imagine you're a doctor, right? And you're trying to diagnose a rare disease. You could spend weeks, months even, poring over research. Or you could use an AI-powered platform that analyzes millions of data points in seconds, comparing your patient's symptoms to a vast database, and boom, diagnosis. That's the kind of power we're talking about, and that's what NVIDIA's tech enables.
Wow, that's some next level stuff.
It is, and that's just scratching the surface, but we'll get into that right after this.
So we're talking about like revolutionizing entire industries here. But with all this success, this crazy growth, are there any speed bumps on the horizon for NVIDIA? Can they keep this up?
Well, nobody's invincible, right? NVIDIA is dealing with some pretty big challenges, just like everyone else these days.
Like what? Give us the lowdown.
One of the biggest ones, and this is something we've all been hearing about, is those pesky supply chain issues. Remember the whole chip shortage thing?
Yeah, that's still a thing.
Yeah, still a thing.
All right.
It's like trying to build a skyscraper with only half the steel, right? And NVIDIA, they're feeling the squeeze.
So how are they dealing with that? I mean, they must be doing something right with those numbers they're putting out.
They're definitely not sitting on their hands. They're working closely with suppliers, trying to find new sources for the materials. It's a constant juggling act.
And on top of that, they're constantly innovating. We talked about their Hopper GPU, but they've got new stuff coming out all the time, right? Like that Blackwell GPU I think you mentioned, that's got to add to the complexity.
Absolutely. It's like they're building the plane while they're flying it, which, it's kind of impressive, but also a little bit nerve-wracking.
How do they even plan for that? It can't be easy to predict demand when you're constantly pushing the boundaries like that.
Right. It's a delicate balance. And remember we were talking about that Blackwell GPU earlier? Well, it turns out they ran into some production issues with that one.
That doesn't sound good.
It wasn't ideal. It actually impacted their gross margin for the quarter.
Gross margin, remind me what that means again.
Basically, it's the profit they make on each product after you factor in the cost to make it. And when you have production delays, material costs going up, all that stuff, it eats into those profits.
So even a tech giant like Nvidia isn't immune to the occasional manufacturing headache.
Nope, nobody's perfect. But here's the thing, and this is where it gets really interesting. Even Nvidia, they're saying they don't fully know what the long-term impact of all this AI stuff is going to be.
It's like we're all holding on for dear life as this AI rocket takes off.
Pretty much. And when even the company at the forefront of this technology is saying, hey, we're not entirely sure where this is going, that should tell us something.
That's a little ominous, don't you think? Like exciting, but also kind of scary.
Totally. And this is where it goes beyond just NVIDIA, right? This is about all of us, figuring out how we fit into this future that's being built right now.
So what does that mean for, like, the average person? What can they even do? Should we all be rushing out to buy NVIDIA stock or something?
Well, that's a question for a financial advisor, not me. But I will say this.
Yeah.
The best thing anyone can do in the face of rapid change is to stay curious, stay informed, and stay adaptable.
Easier said than done, right?
Maybe, but it's more important now than ever because this AI train, it's leaving the station, whether we're on board or not.
Okay, so buckle up, everyone. It's going to be a wild ride. But hey, at least we've got NVIDIA leading the way, right?
For now, at least. But who knows what tomorrow brings? That's the beauty and the terror of it all.
All right, so we've got NVIDIA raking in cash, grappling with challenges, and basically saying, hey, the future is uncertain, even for us.
That about sums it up. But before you jump to any conclusions, there's one more thing you need to consider.
Oh, and what's that?
This is just the tip of the iceberg. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how we live, work, even think. And that has implications for everyone. But we can get into that right after this.
All right, so we're back. NVIDIA, they're on top of the world, but even they don't know what's coming next. Kind of makes you think, right?
It should. It's easy to get caught up in the hype, the billions of dollars, the cool technology.
But there's a bigger picture here.
Absolutely. This isn't just about NVIDIA, it's about all of us. We're talking about a technological revolution, the likes of which we haven't seen before.
Okay, so, like, how do we even wrap our heads around that? What does that even mean for, everyday people?
Well, for one thing, it means we need to start thinking differently about the future. We can't just assume things will keep going the way they always have.
Right, because this AI thing, it's not just some passing fad, is it?
Not even close. This is the new reality, and it's changing faster than most of us can keep up with.
So what can we do? I mean, it feels kind of overwhelming, to be honest. Should we all be, like, learning to code or something?
Well, it certainly wouldn't hurt. But more importantly, we need to be willing to adapt, to learn new skills, to embrace change.
And to maybe, like, not freak out completely when we see those headlines about AI taking over the world.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between cautious optimism and, healthy skepticism.
Right, because it's not all doom and gloom, is it? This AI stuff has the potential to do a lot of good, too.
Absolutely. Think about the medical breakthroughs we talked about earlier, or the potential for solving some of the world's most pressing problems. AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It's up to us to decide how we want to use it.
Okay, so less panicking about robots taking over, more focusing on how we can shape this future that's being built right now.
Now you're getting it. It's about being informed, being engaged, and being part of the conversation.
No pressure, right. But seriously, this has been eye-opening. We've gone from record-breaking profits to the future of humanity, all in under 30 minutes.
That's the thing about these deep dives. You never know where they'll take you, but that's part of the fun, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's like they say, the only constant is change. And in the age of AI, that's never been truer.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, on that note, we're going to wrap things up for today. But before we go, just a reminder to stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay tuned for our next deep dive, where we'll continue to explore the ever-changing world of tech. Until next time.